guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got Andy. If you have not heard of Andy, then you are missing out. I love this guy. So Andy, introduce yourself, let them know what you do and what you're about.
Well, thank you very much. I love you too. My name's Andy Rouillard. I am a male waxer. I run a men's grooming salon and waxing training school down in Hampshire. So I spend all day, every day, pulling hair out of men. So I feel very calm and relaxed when I get home at the end of the day.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely love that. So the reason we've got Andy on is because, one, not only just because I love Andy to bits, but two, because it's great to get the male's perspective when it comes to waxing. And for me, as a female waxer, I have a lot of, obviously, women that come through the door. The one thing I don't have, I have a small little client-based sort of base when it comes to males, but I don't do male intimate. And I would love to know what that entails, because I am starting to think to myself, this could be fun. You're going to have some more stories than I've got to tell.
Go and have some training with me, babes. We'll set you right up.
I tell you what, I've heard Hannah has done training with Andy, and I've heard good things about what Andy teaches. So when it comes to male waxing, what I think a lot of people want to know is it popular? Because I do, and I'm just going to say, like, I think there's a lot of people that just assume that there's a lot of just gay guys that have it waxed, and that's it. But actually, I think there is a huge base of male clients that would have waxing done in any area for many reasons. For example, sports or medical reasons, or just like through comfort. Ethnicity as well, I think, plays a factor. Like,
cultural difference.
Yeah, 100%. So I think there's many reasons why anyone, man or woman, that would get waxed. And I feel like this is your field. Like, what is it? Let's cut out the stereotyping. What is it that when it comes to men having wax, what to expect when they come through the door? Is there any funny stories that you've got to share? You know, it's a safe zone here, guys. We're not going to drop names. And, you know, is it something they should be feared of? Like, because I do feel like when a man comes through the door to me, they generally feel a little bit like, oh, am I the only guy that comes to see you? But I think it must be a different perspective when they come to see Andy. They're coming into a guy's environment. They know that you're a specialist in this field. This is something that you deal with. And they probably already automatically think, well, actually, I'm one of however many men that come through. Does that change their confidence level when they walk through the door?
100%, yeah. And if you go back kind of 20 plus years when I started out, it was a lot more taboo. Waxing was a little bit more niche for the guys. So I would sit there some days with nothing more than an eyebrow wax or a chest wax to kind of get me through the day.
Yeah.
Now you fast forward, you know, certainly the last 10 years, and beyond, it's increasingly popular for chaps. You know, guys are taking more care of themselves. They're more into their grooming. We see it more on social media and in magazines and on TV. You just have to look at things like Love Island. You know, there's not a single chest hair on any of those guys in there. So it's something that is out there a lot more, and men are a lot more aware of, and a lot more willing to look into where they can get their treatments from. And it's not something that people should be scared of. You know, people come for all kinds of reasons. Like you said, it's anything from, you know, bankers to builders. You know, we've got the guys coming in, and it could be just because they just prefer the way that it looks to have the hair removed. It could be because they feel that it feels cooler and fresher, especially in the summer months. You know, as we're approaching our, hopefully, hot, sunny British summer, you know, it does feel a little bit cooler and fresher to have that hair removed, especially the intimate areas, the bum in particular. You know, that's a big area that people
Sweaty
are big
crack.
area. Sweaty crack.
Sweaty crack. No one wants a sweaty crack, especially with hair.
Crack. No, exactly right. And
it's just exfoliating it as we walk.
Makes going to the loo a lot easier as well. Like have a little bit of hygiene afterwards as well.
Yeah, this is the truth. Like, like being straight. Like, when I wax women, it's going to be the same. Man, woman, you're pooing from round the back.
Well, I hope you're pooing from round the back.
You could be pooing from the front. Who knows? I've heard stories. Anyway, so we poo from round the back, and if you've got a lot of hair, cling-ons, they happen. Like, makes your underwear more cleaner. When you're wiping, you feel more cleaner. I know. Look, listen, go with us on this one. It's true facts what we're talking about here. There is a purpose of why people think, well, actually, I'd like to feel clean. Yeah. And get it done. Yeah. So, yeah, 100%. Like,
absolutely.
When it comes to that. And I think for men, they are naturally more hairier.
A lot of the time. Yeah, exactly.
So, obviously, there is that plays into factor that they're thinking, actually, it's a nice, clean reason. I had a male client just recently that came, straight guy, married, but he was a cyclist, and he wanted all of the hair. We did full leg, full arm, we did everything with the intimate area. We did everything, and I was intrigued. I was like, "What are we doing this for?" And he actually said, I'm a cyclist, so one, it helps with comfort. Like hair, when you've got a lot of it, the friction of it, rubbing against clothes.
That saddle friction, absolutely. If you remove the hair from the bum
Yeah.
in particular, it reduces that friction, 100%. Like I said, on the arms, if they're triathletes as well, if they're kind of wearing the wetsuits and all the rest of it, 100% feels more
And he
comfortable.
actually said that he likes the fact that he can put not body lotion, SPF. So sun cream. He was like, sun cream goes on 20 seconds. He said it takes him to put it all on because there's no hair. He said, if you've got lots of hair and you're rubbing your sun cream on, he's like, it's getting mixed in with all the hair. And he said it takes ages to rub in and actually absorb. And I thought about it. I was like, oh my gosh, actually, he's got a point. Like when I go on holiday with my husband, he's like, oh, do you mind getting the cream? And his arms and his legs where they're so hairy, he's sitting ages trying to rub it in because he doesn't like the feeling of it against all of the hair. And I actually thought there is many reasons, reasons that I haven't even thought of. Like, for some reason, there's just this stereotype that why would a guy get waxed?
Yeah.
But I think we just need to talk about it and make it really normal. And it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, whatever. There's many reasons why men get waxed.
Yeah, 100%.
There's just, for some reason, this stereotype that for only reason, like, straight men don't do it. But of course, like,
that's absolutely
it's
not
rubbish,
true.
yeah.
Absolutely. And if you go places like Portugal and Spain, and all the guys are getting their legs waxed as well. So, that's... It varies around the world, and it's absolutely not just something that just gay guys have done. The vast majority of my clients are straight, and I'm really nosy. I want to know why people are having it done. So when the first time somebody comes to my salon, I'm like, so you're getting this done for a holiday or just something you fancied having? And it just lets people kind of open up and talk about why they're having it done. So that helps with the marketing side of things as well, because I can then say, right, okay, I'm noticing that a lot of guys are coming in around the summertime because it feels fresher, cooler, like you said, the sun cream.
Yeah.
So you can use that to your advantage when you're doing the marketing as well, to really tap into those reasons why guys want to get it done. Because we've got this thing with the guys. It's not just about when you're doing your marketing as a salon, you can't just say, come and get waxed by me because I'm the best waxer in town and I'm going to give you £10 off your first wax or whatever. You've got to find out why the guys are getting waxed in the first place. What's going to make them come to get their hair removed from you. Because if you think about it, rightly or wrongly, there's a lot of social pressure from the media and in our society that women are expected to be hair free. Like I said, rightly or wrongly, it's expected that you'll have hair-free underarms, no fuzz in the upper lip, a nice smooth bikini line. We haven't yet reached that point with guys. Yes, we've got TV shows and images on social media and in magazines where people are hair-free, but we haven't yet reached the point where it's expected that guys will be hair-free. So you've got to kind of almost do that one step back when you're doing your marketing for getting guys to come through the door and think, well, what is going to make them want to get hair free in the first place? And like you said, it could be anything from rubbing sun cream in, it could be sports performance. So for swimmers, it might make them a little bit faster, might feel more comfortable. There is a video on YouTube actually where they shaved a guy's legs and then stuck him in a wind tunnel, and they prove that it does shave. It does make a difference. I mean, it's a very small advantage, but when you're competing professionally or when you are doing
that small
this,
difference can be
absolutely,
massive. Yeah.
It does make a big difference. So it could be that. It could be that it just feels more comfortable. It could be a confidence thing. I mean, I've lost track of the number of guys that have told me that they feel that they can take their shirt off when they're on holiday with their family and not feel embarrassed. They can go to the swimming pool with their kids and not feel conscious about having a hairy back. So there's that kind of self-esteem reason as well. Or it could be just that their partners like the smooth look, for example, the power of female persuasion, partner pressure, not to be underestimated.
It's interesting you say that, because when I was in London a few weeks back, we did a little bit of like street interview style content. And it was great because we were just, random picking people off the street. It wasn't a case of like, oh, that person works here or whatever. Had no clue of their background, what their thoughts or opinions were. And it was so refreshing to see some of the men that were interested in having that chat with us. Yeah. And one of the guys that we spoke to, we said, what's your preference? Do you prefer to be waxed? Do you want your partner to be waxed? And straight away they were like, no, like point blank, don't want to get waxed, unless it was for a dare. But they were like, when I said, all right, let's spin it around then, like, would you let your partner... Would you prefer your partner to be waxed? And they were like, yeah, straight away.
Oh yeah, it's all right for the other half to be waxed, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like we'll let the woman do it, or whoever. But that to me just really showed that there is a preference, and there is people in relationships that are like, actually, do you know what? I'd really like her to do this, but no. But then actually, hang on a minute. There are some people, like I have a lot of women that come to me and will be like, oh, do you know, I'm having a landing strip this time because my partner likes it. So I wondered if there is men that are like, actually, no, I would leave that because, like you say, the power of the persuasion of your partner is saying, actually, I prefer you to have that teeny little bit of hair there. Because you do, when you're in a relationship, there is give and take, and you want to obviously make them happy as well as yourself. Yeah. I think the key point is that you're happy as well within yourself of what you've got. Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely, I think there is this pressure of when you're in a relationship of making sure that they like what you've got as well.
Definitely. And certainly when I started, there was a lot of guys who were getting booked in by their other half. So they would turn up thinking they were going to get a nice massage. And I'd be like, right, pants off on the table. And I'm like, oh, okay.
What are you massaging?
Get the wax spot. And I'm like,
well, this is what I'd find really interesting to know is how's the stretching process? Because you're saying, right, that we was talking a little bit about it while we was having something to eat. And I was like, hang on, let's wait till the cameras are rolling.
That's good dinner conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Eating my jacket potato, imagining like a scrotum like stretched over. I just, I'm in my head, I'm thinking, right, what is it? When they come in and you're saying, right, pants off, come on, up your hop. Yeah. Like, partners booked him in, then let's just say, and they don't know, don't know what to expect. Is it a shock?
So I think when you're working with guys, part of that difficulty is that fear of the unknown. A lot of guys won't know what to expect. They don't have any point of reference, or if they do have a point of reference, it's something like the 40-year-old virgin, right?
You ready?
Yep.
Bitch. Me.
Sucker, motherfucker.
They think it's going to be absolutely unbearable. And this is where things like social media really come into play, because you can use social media and your website to let guys know what they're in for, essentially, how to prepare for their skin beforehand, what to expect from the treatment, how to look after their skin afterwards, and even simple things like, well, not simple things, but even things like what happens if I get an erection? Do I have to be naked? What happens if something pops up and says hello, as it were? So answering all of those questions before a guy does come through the door or even makes their appointment does go a long way towards taking that fear and that mystery out of their manscaping. So anything you can do before the appointment really makes a huge difference for that. But as I said, we were talking about the stretching earlier, and that's one of the biggest questions that students have before they book onto the course is, how on earth are we going to keep that skin tight, right? Because it's kind of stretchy and wrinkly down there. I mean, some of them are like bagpipes, you can kind of see the new year on them. So, you've got to kind of keep that skin tight. One of the key rules, as you know, with waxing is keep that skin stretched. So I'm here to tell you, you grab it, you pull it, and you keep it tight. So I always get my client to help. So I get them to kind of hold their penis over to the side. Yeah. There are a lot of therapists that will do that for the client. They will hold the penis. And I'm like, I've got enough of that at home. I don't need to be doing that in my salon as well. So they get to hold
Honey,
the penis.
I've got to do this when I get off work. Exactly. So if you don't mind, stretch it for
me.
It,
move it, hold it over there. And then I will stretch the scrotum. So that way you've got like a two-way stretch in the skin. Yeah, you've got double stretch. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's kind of like, I'm going to roll my sleeve up for this.
No,
it's a little bit like this bit of skin on your elbow, okay? So you can grab it, you can pinch it and pull it. It doesn't hurt. It only goes so far. It's not going to snap like chewing gum. Yeah. Exactly the same as the scrotum. It will only go so far. And a lot of people, when they start doing the waxing, are like, wow, that really does stretch. And it absolutely does. But you're not going to hurt the client.
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, a little bit like that. But as long as you've got that skin stretched tight, and as long as you're not pinching the actual testicles, you're just stretching from the skin, it keeps everything nice and tight. Makes it as comfortable as it can be. And so we just kind of work around like that. The client's holding themselves out of the way. I'm kind of stretching the skin. And between the two of us, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
Male intimate waxing.
I mean, like, we're talking about it like, oh, God, like men, like they do this and they do that. But actually, it's the same for women.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just assume that like you put the wax on. No, there is stretching. Yeah. Like, the labia is a looser part of the whole area. So, we need to make sure there's like that double stretch sometimes, especially on ladies that do have a little bit more looser skin. I'll ask them to hold really tight from here. And then I might be doing that stretch from underneath to make sure that surface is really nice and taut. So it's no different. But I think because male waxing isn't spoken about so openly, like if I was to go on my social media now, open it up, there's about 1 million waxers, beauticians, whatever. A lot of the talk is very female based. I haven't seen as many that are very male-based, and I think it's really important because us girls can sort of find that info, know what to expect slightly. There's enough of us all posing and doing funny memes of us in all fours pose or knees up to the chest, so we're kind of like a bit like aware a little bit, I guess. But when it comes to men, I haven't seen that waxer on there saying, look, this is what I'm doing with the scrub. They haven't got a tennis ball, for example, and demonstrating. Do you know what I mean? This is what you're going to expect. Not that, that it should be something that puts fear in people, but it's always nice to know what's going to happen when you walk through the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, even that explanation we just done with the elbow, I think that's like actually, when I think about it, I don't have a willy. I don't want to shock you all, but I don't have one. So I don't know what to expect or how that would feel. So in my head, I'm thinking, right, I know if I was to stretch a woman's labia, that I know what that would feel like from personal experience. But on a guy, I'd be thinking, oh God, is this stretching too far?
Yeah.
Like you say, will it snap? But to actually, hang on a minute, if you're a female waxer out there and you're thinking this is the field I want to get into, I want to do some training with Andy, that actually there isn't that fear of what you think there is.
Yeah.
Like it is just like waxing anywhere else. It's just stretching some skin.
And
There's
once
nothing
you've
to
got it
fear.
stretched, it is exactly that. It's like waxing any other part of the body. It's the skin is tight, and it just it makes your job easy. And I'm a big fan of the saying, if it's easy for me, it's going to be easier and more comfortable for the client. So if I can do my job easier, then the client's going to be a lot happier at the end of the day as well, because it's going to be easier for them. So I definitely advocate kind of getting them to help with the stretch like you do with the ladies. But that's why training's so important. I don't think it's something that you can just learn by reading online or just seeing a couple of videos. I do think hands-on training does make a huge difference, because you get the opportunity to work with different skin types, different hair types. You get to ask all of those questions that you might have. You might run into some problems on your training, which is perfectly normal. You might kind of get into a bit of a sticky situation and think, no pun intended there, but you might run into a situation and think, I have no idea what to do here.
What was it about when it says sticky? Wax or things? Because I've heard of some stories that happen. Literally, I think training is definitely important, because actually, just like what you're saying, but also, what if someone comes in, does the training, and actually goes, actually, no, this isn't for me?
Yeah.
It's really important to know that as well. Like, is it for you or isn't it for you? There's people I've taught with intimate for females, and they go, actually, it wasn't what I expected. Yeah. And you know what? I don't think it is for me. Yeah. But you need to do that to know that.
Absolutely. And I 100% support therapists who are like, actually, I don't want to do men's intimate waxing, or I don't want to work with male clients at all. You've got to feel comfortable with what you do. I mean, Hannah said it earlier, right? You've got to be comfortable and confident in your own treatment room. If you're dreading a client coming in, then it's not going to be good for you, and it's not going to be good for them by extension. So you've got to be 100% happy with what you're doing. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. But while we're talking about testicles, Abby, have you got? I've just realised Andy has no hydration over here, and we're talking about some serious stuff over here. What I will admit is that when Abby finds it, sorry, she's in there. It's like Mary Poppins. What are you going to get in there? What you will notice is the testicles are upside down. So the lovely lady, she worked very hard at trying to sort this for you very quickly. She obviously hasn't looked at testicles very often, so they look like upside down hairy boobies.
They really do.
But more to the point, when you take a sip of your drink, the testicles have been dipped in your mouth.
Marvellous. Marvellous. That's wonderful. That's my daily dick. That's lovely. What a way to start the day.
So we need to just top up some hydration on that, I think. You need it when you're on here with me. That's all I could say. You're going to get a headache from either the laugh, or you're going to be told that them testicles have been dipped in your mouth. More to the point, I just love the fact that she just literally handed it over to me, still didn't notice. And then when I got back, I pulled them out the bag and was like, the testicles look very different to what I'm used to. Sticking up in a way that I'm not used to seeing them. Anyway.
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. I don't want you to, get thirsty when we're talking about this type of stuff. So going back to some of the interviews that we did do in London, I feel like we might have some clips, Abby. I feel like it'd be nice to get Andy's perspective on it.
Lovely.
Like, this guy knows his stuff.
Darling, I'm going to have to get my reading glasses, because I'm a man of a certain age. Hannah,
I'm sorry. He says...
They're just on the side there.
Hannah's with us.
At the back there.
Hannah's in the background, and she's one of... Actually, she did training with Andy, and she's absolutely amazing.
We love her.
She's one of our babies. We love her. Glasses on. Oh, honey! What a vibe. I love it.
Okay.
So we've got Till and we've got James.
Have either of you ever been waxed?
No. And
No.
would you?
Possibly, but it's not.
Not something you've ever gone and rushed off to do. Is there a reason behind it? Is it just because you feel like it's more of a female thing, or just worried about how it feels?
It's seen more as a female thing, but it looks quite painful, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you book in at the weekend and think, yeah, great, can't wait to do it. But there is benefits to it, and there are some men that absolutely love it because they don't want to have that horrible shaver rash or the burn or anything like that they get from shaving all the time. Is it just something you're just point blank, no way, I would never try that because of the pain?
No, I'd probably try it.
If you got dared, I'm daring you. Go and get it waxed. Honestly.
100%.
You would do it then? Okay, right. So I'm going to bet you then that you need to go and have a wax and then get back to me and let me know what you thought of it. Because I'm telling you, it's not as bad as you think. If you had a partner, would you like it if they were waxed?
Yeah.
Okay,
Double
so you
standards.
like them being waxed, but you don't want to experience it yourself?
Yeah.
I see the theme that's going here. Okay, well, my thing to you is now just go off and experience the wax and then get back to whoever you're seeing and let them know if you think it's as bad as what it is. All right, thank you, guys.
So, these were the boys that I was talking about. They're lovely. Absolutely lovely. No judgment. Look, listen, at the end of the day, it's personal preference. It is personal preference. But what really stood out for me is that they generally think it's more seen for females. And I was like, no, not at all. Like, it's insane. I get it. I get it because of what we were saying. Like, if you go online, it is very promoted, waxing in a female-based film. But actually, like, this is probably the stigma that's making people think, I can't go and do it. So they'll keep up with the old razor or then go off and use home kits if they want to do it. So we spoke to a lovely guy called Lloyd. And I asked him about, had he ever been waxed? And he basically said, no, he hadn't been waxed by anyone, but he had tried waxing himself, that he had a lot of hair on his chest, didn't like it, tried it with some like Veet strips that you get in the supermarket, and then said he came up with like spots and a bit of a rash. He thought it was quite painful. Again, like they're saying, they think there's pain. But I do think sometimes the pain aspect is because, one, there's really bad videos online, very dramatic videos.
Because good waxing doesn't get clicks and likes, right?
Yeah.
Bad waxing, painful
Clickbait.
waxing, people screaming, that's what people like to see.
Yes, they do. And actually, if we're talking about on a frank thing, if we're looking back over the years, people used a lot of strip wax back in the day. And there are certain areas that doesn't mean you can't use strip wax there. It's just that you're going to feel it a little bit more. It's just a teeny bit more invasive on the skin. Somewhere that's a bit more delicate or sensitive, you may just feel it a little bit more. But it should never be to the point where it's like unbearable pain. Yeah. And that's the bit that I think people are twisted with. The way I describe it is that it's like being slapped on your skin when you're cold, a little bit of that ting, you get tingling feeling. It's a few seconds and then it sort of like fades off, if that makes sense. It's not like 100%. It's a quick second, like, oh, and then after that second's gone, you're not still trying to catch your breath, like some of these videos you see online. Yeah. And I think men in general, like quite a lot of men, believe that it's going to be so horrifically painful that there's no way. Like, there's a running joke. Yeah. Oh, back, sack and crack, no way. Like, it's constantly got this negative, painful spin on it. But actually, done with a good wax, with a good technique, and with, the best products out there. So we're not talking about your Veet strips, and me not having to go at any brand here, but these products that you can get in the supermarkets, you're not trained to use them. Yeah. So if you're having a bad experience, doing it for charity, doing it for whatever, girlfriend who has no clue, shoving it on your testicles, or, your boyfriend putting it straight on your ass crack and not having a clue what he's doing, 100% that's going to hurt.
Yeah, and there's something about handing a partner a home wax strip that, they could be the most loving wife or husband or whatever at home previously, but you hand them a wax strip and you suddenly become the target for everything that the male race has ever done wrong, ever in that moment.
Washing out the machine.
Absolutely, yeah. This is for getting drunk at my aunt's wedding 40 years ago. Embarrassing me.
This is for farting in your sleep.
God, I'd be dead if I got ripped for that.
I've got to be honest, I don't think I'm doing too well either. But yeah, this is the thing, that I think there's that stigma, and I think it has stemmed from bad habits and from bad clickbait stories. Yeah. And the truth is it any more painful than if a female got waxed? I know there'll be females out there that will be saying, oh God, yeah, but it hurts me. But waxing isn't pain-free.
Yeah. No, it's not. But there's a world of difference between something being uncomfortable and something being absolutely unbearable. Oh my God, I am never going to have that done again. And it should never cross into that territory.
Yeah.
You're pulling hair by the root. There is always going to be an element of, oh, that's
Felt
smart.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it should never be kind of like, oh my Lord, you know. And there's a few things there. The first thing is that guys don't talk about this kind of thing. You know, we don't go down to the pub and chat about it with our mates over a pint and a packet of pork scratchings, you know, talk about waxing. So guys, again, like I said earlier, they don't have any point of reference. They don't know what to expect. They've seen all the clickbait videos, like the ones where with the barbers that cover a full face in wax.
Oh my
And then
God, I'm so
like the
glad you brought this
guy's
up.
like on the chair, like being pulled out of his seat because it's so painful. But that is a poor
Insane.
is an understatement. That is a shit waxing technique.
Yeah.
Something that should never, ever happen.
Are they waxing like that? Or is that just clickbait? 'Cause
It's
do you
clickbait, 100%.
like-
No one's... Yeah.
Like, seriously, the amount of people that tag me in these videos, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, I can feel my actual self going, as it's being pulled off. And not only that, like, these are full, like, look at, like, right, let's use your beard as an example, right? Beautifully trimmed, by the way.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Beautifully trimmed and full of hair, right? But it's your face. It's a delicate, sensitive area. Now, I've seen people that have literally waxed the whole beard off.
Please don't do that.
And I'm sitting there thinking, look, I don't have a beard like that, and I can't imagine what that feels like. But I'm taking a wild guess that
I can tell you what it feels like. Effing painful is how it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
Is I'm here I'm going to look directly into the camera.
No, you
I'm
tell
here to
them.
tell you, do not wax a full beard. It is fine to kind of tidy up these areas here, these areas down here as well. You wouldn't wax all of this where I've got it trimmed. You know, the hair is really coarse. It's really thick. It's deeply rooted. It's got a very rich blood and nerve supply. It's going to hurt like hell when you're pulling that hair out, as you can see just from watching these clickbait videos. The second thing is as well is that, you know, most people, as we know from COVID, right? Most people are touching their face all day, every day without realising. Bacteria, anything on those hands are going to get into those open follicles. You could end up with folliculitis, a bit of an infection in there. Also, they're out in sunlight, so then you could end up with some post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. You could end up with some scarring. It's just a hot mess waiting to happen. There is no good reason to wax a full beard.
100%. And what you just touched base with that, kind of going back to a little bit of like what Lloyd said when we were talking to Lloyd about his chest. The folliculitis, that can be quite painful.
Yeah.
And actually, it's an infection in the follicles. It can build up to an infection that can't clear on its own. And I know that there is people that have had it quite bad. Especially, I've known a lot of men to get it down their back quite bad. If you was to give them, like Lloyd or any other man right now that's thinking, look, I really feel self-conscious about my back hair, my chest, and I'm getting these spots that come up, I haven't touched it, I haven't done this. What would be your advice? Like, how can they stop them coming down with what looks like acne down their back or chest? Because that was one of the things that Lloyd was like, oh, it came up with spots.
Yeah.
And I did say to him, you know, like, obviously it's not my field of, like, specialties. Like, I'm not, like, as much as I wax men, I don't know it in depth to, like, how you do. So this is great having you here to give these guys this advice so that they don't get put off by it. Because from the advice I gave him was that, one, it could be the actual wax itself that he's put on. He's probably not done it in the best way, probably caused a bit of trauma to the actual skin. But two, also, it is something, depending on your hair type, you've got to be more consistent with it. As the hair gets more finer, naturally that trauma is, you know, that amount of thick hair is not going to affect the skin as much. Yeah. But I think a lot of men don't realise that even just putting a sweaty, dirty T-shirt back on, rubbing against the skin is going to cause it. So is this the right advice? Is there more advice you could probably add to that, like so that people don't get scared by having it done?
So as we said earlier, you know, pulling hair out of the root, it's never going to be completely pain-free, and it's also going to cause trauma to the skin. So you're going to look a little bit pink and sort, a little bit, going to look and feel a bit like mild sunburn immediately after waxing. That can last for a day or two, especially the first time you get waxed, and if you've got quite a bit of hair there as well. As that settles, you're going to look like a plucked chicken because all of that inflammation is going to settle into those individual pores. But you should be being told by your waxer how to look after your skin immediately after any hair removal. And if you're getting waxed or if you're getting sugared, one of the key things we say is to kind of keep things clean, cool and calm for a couple of days after waxing. Because if that skin is irritated and everywhere we've taken a hair out, there's now basically a hole in the skin that's exposed to to the elements. And if you do put like a hot, sweaty t-shirt back on, a dirty t-shirt, you've come straight from the gym or whatever, and you put that t-shirt straight back onto your skin, all of that sweat is then going to get into those open follicles. And over the next couple of days after your wax, you want to kind of avoid anything that's going to get you too hot and sweaty, any heat or friction that's going to rub on the skin and irritate it any further. Because if you do get an infection, any bacteria getting into those follicles, that can be one of the things that causes those pimples. So try and keep things as clean as you can, stay as cool as you can. So no hot water, cool to lukewarm in your bath and shower for a couple of days. No vigorous exercise, no steam rooms, hot tubs, saunas, those sorts of things.
Which actually applies to all waxing,
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
It's just that I think I find that my male clients sweat a lot more heavier as well than, say, like my female, especially if I've got a big guy and he's on the couch and they're nervous, the sweat starts to build up during the wax appointment. And even though they might feel like they've got a clean T-shirt on, no matter how much we've cleaned it, put whatever aftercare on, they're going to get up and then they're going to feel a bit hot and sweat. That sweat is still sitting slightly on the skin, that bit of bacteria. And I always feel like I try and advise them that if you're going to go home and have a wash, just to clean the sweat off from earlier, just keep it tepid and cool.
Cool to tepid.
Which I think a lot of people just miss that information completely, because then they go back and, especially if it's in the winter, the last thing they want to do is have a cold shower.
Yeah.
So I think some of these things do play a factor in how the skin reacts.
100%, yeah. And it's the first time, or first couple of times in particular, I always say to people, give it a couple of days. Don't just do 24 hours. Give it a couple of days, because then you're really giving your skin chance to recover, and you're using all of the things that you should be using at home. So a really good product to use. Can we say products? Can we name products?
Yeah, you can name products.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a hypochlorous solution, for example. So something like Clinicept or Clinisoothe, Hypo 21 is another one. Something that's going to kind of really cool and calm the skin down, take that inflammation out, but also be antimicrobial. So it's going to help prevent that infection in the follicles. And if you do get any spots, then it's going to help clear that up a lot quicker. So that would be something that I would be wanting all of my first-time clients in particular to be taking away with them. A salicylic acid-based product is also another a good recommendation, because, again, salicylic acid is anti-inflammatory. It can help prevent infection as well, because it's antimicrobial. It's chemically related to aspirin. So it's got all of those positive effects that it can have on the skin. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, don't use it immediately after waxing, because that's going to sting like a bitch. But, in the kind of few hours afterwards, absolutely fine to do that. Tea tree shower gel, something like that. Tea tree body lotion, that can help as well.
Form of like anti-bac soap,
something
absolutely.
They can
just, even if it's just
Hibis
used for
scrub,
days.
Even, that's kind of, if you're getting spots all the time, then that's something to look at down the line. Don't start off with that, because that's kind of overkill. But yeah, it's something that can help if you're really, really suffering with those spots.
Because a lot of guys will do it for their holiday. So obviously if they're getting their back or chest coming up like that, they're going to be like really self-conscious while they're away, taking their top off. So I always say to people, look, you're better to come a couple of waxes before your holiday, because then you're going to know what your skin's going to react like.
Do not get waxed immediately before sitting on a plane and jetting off to, the Seychelles. No one's going to want to be sat on a plane for 8 hours with a sweaty back or a freshly waxed bikini line, right? It's the worst thing you can do. And then you're stripping off at the pool, scaring the locals with your bright red spotty back. It's just not a good idea.
Yeah, but this is the thing. And then people get self-conscious, don't they? And then it puts them off completely for the future. But actually there were steps they could have done to, one, prevent it.
Work back from
100%. I agree with that. Thank you, Andy, because that might help a few men out there. Hopefully.
And bring a cool T-shirt, a clean cotton T-shirt.
Yeah, that's good advice.
You've got something to change into.
Because then they're going to get in the car or train, however they've got to their appointment, and then they have something clean against the skin. So yeah, that's really important. Good tips. Abby, we got another video ready. Another little one to share with Andy. Specs on.
Bad boys on the 2 running glasses.
Actually works for Marvel, and they've got superpowers in them glasses.
Yeah, absolutely. And if
X-ray
I take
vision.
them off and shake my hair down as well.
What have we got? It's a surprise. I don't even know what you're going to watch.
I'm so I'm like kind of like turning it upside down, and it's going with me, and I'm like, what sorcery is this?
You're on selfie mode now.
This is why I don't do social media, because I'd be like, Jesus. Okay. Zoe and Betty, apparently.
Oh, hello, Zoe and
So
Betty.
we've got Zoe and Betty. Have either of you ever been waxed?
I've not.
Yes. Betty's not, but Zoe has. Yeah. How was your experience with your waxing? Was you nervous the first time you obviously went?
So I first started getting waxed at 14.
Amazing.
I went with my mum.
Pick up your mum? Honestly, do you know how many mums are just like, no, I don't want to get involved with that. I don't want you to go to a waxer, just shave or just do it at home. But the fact that your mum was actually like supporting you with that.
I think because shaving, I always used to cut my legs. So my mum was like, I'll take you waxing with me. And she used to just sit in the corner while I got my legs waxed.
I love that. That is such a true mum and daughter day out.
Yeah, it was cute. So I was like never nervous or scared of waxing because I think she just introduced it so like naturally.
From naturally at a young age. How did you find the experience as more time went on? Did you like the results that you're getting, or did you find that you fell back to the razor?
No, so I would still be waxing to this day. It's just when I went to uni, I moved town, so I lost contact with the waxer I'd had since I was like 14.
And that's like a really important factor, isn't it? Once you meet a waxer, that's the thing. A lot of people, once they found a waxer that they love, they stick with them because it's confidence, isn't it? At the end of the day,
they know your body, they don't judge you. You know everything about them, they know everything about you.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So you're not completely against the waxing; it's just getting back to finding your waxer again.
I just need to probably go back to her. I just need to message her. But
go for it. Drop the message.
Yeah.
You don't want razor burn.
No, I hate it. No, I also like shaving's just not good for me. Like I feel like it brings about a rash. Like I just don't really agree with it. But it's just convenience, isn't it?
Yeah. When you have stubble that comes back through and then you're trying to shave back over, it is so painful and it can make the skin bleed and it's itchy. No one wants to feel like a cactus. So I totally get it. So just get back to that waxer and Betty, you need to go and see a waxer. If you need one, I can be one, all right?
Go to Zoe's waxer. She sounds great, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
So this is something I wanted to touch base with you. Obviously, she's talking about her mum. Reality is, not every woman out there has got, growing up, a mum present. And it may be that they've got their dad bringing them up, their uncle, whoever has took them in. Look, every background is different for each individual. So for a lot of women out there, they may be sitting there thinking, God, how do I approach this? Like, Dad, like, I want to go and tell him that I'm getting cuts and razor burns. And, you know, it's not as straightforward for everyone to have a supportive mum or an open mum that's happy to take them to appointments or say, right, okay, what options do you want? Look, I'm not sitting here saying that everybody has to get waxed. Some people prefer to have the hair there. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people might prefer to do the lasering route. Not that we're going to promote that because, you know, we'd be out of work. But it is still an option and it is still something that is helpful for somebody who doesn't agree with waxing. They might find it too painful. Everyone has a different look. It's not painful. You know, what we spoke about is true. It's not painful, but for some people, the sensitivity level for themselves or the emotional level for it, they just don't find it comfortable. They might prefer the laser route. No right or wrong. It's personal preference. But if there is someone that is struggling with the shaving, they are unhappy with the hair growth, like, what advice would you be giving them saying, like, as a man, like, how should they be approaching it? So do you feel that maybe if a woman was to come up to you, a young girl to come up to you, that, you know, niece, whoever, you know, your daughter, they're coming over and saying, look, I really want to go to a salon. Should they be thinking, yep, take them along? Like, I'll get in touch with the salon. Should they be afraid to get in touch with the salon? Like, for me, I feel like women naturally will just go, yeah, come on then, let's go and get it sorted if they do have to have that conversation. But sometimes men just find it a little bit uncomfortable and like, oh, God, like, this is where your mum's needed. But actually, dad should be just as welcome, uncles, whoever. I think, no, like, they haven't got anyone. I am their guardian. I'm the one that can help them with this. And it's really lovely to hear that she had that, but not everyone does.
Yeah. So it could be that there's another female relative that that young girl might feel comfortable with, or that the dad could kind of reach out to, or the uncle could reach out to do that. But there's absolutely no reason why, you know, that person shouldn't contact a salon and just say, look, I've got the situation. My daughter or my niece or whoever is looking to get a wax done. What advice can you give? You know, most salons and therapists out there, especially those of us that specialise with the waxing, and we do it for our job all day, every day, will have some advice that we're able to give. Obviously, if a client is under the age of 16, they would need to have a parent or a guardian with them, and that person needs to be present in the room. So that can go a long way towards making younger clients feel much more comfortable having their first treatment done. And obviously the waxer would hopefully take some time to explain what the process was going to be, how it was going to feel, maybe do a test strip on the skin.
Yeah.
That could be something that might be explored as a first option. You know, don't book for the full appointment straight from the off. Go in and ask if you can have a test strip on the leg.
Yeah, I've done that.
That might be an
clients,
example.
yeah.
And it's an interesting thing as well in this country is that, you know, we're quite prudish sometimes about the age that people should go along and get their first wax. Whereas you go places like, I don't know, France, for example, and they're getting waxed, you know, really young, sort of 11, 12 years old when the hair starts appearing. So there can be cultural
That's what I was going to say.
as well.
Ethnicity definitely, I think, plays a, like. I get clients from all over, and if I've got, just for example, if I have an Asian lady that will come in, they'll have thick dark hair that might be growing down their neck. Or they've got like back hair on, and you know they feel self-conscious of it. And it's not me saying that there's anything wrong with it. I think if you're comfortable and happy with what you have, wherever it is, whatever colour the hair is, or you know the thickness of it, if it makes you feel comfortable and you're not bothered and you're only doing it because you think society is telling you to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like I had a lady that came to me and was like, she was Italian. She was like, oh, really pale skin, but I've got really dark hair here, and it really bothers me. She said, it bothers me that it's growing there. And I said, does it bother you that it's growing there, or is it because someone else has commented on it? Because I said, if it's really bothering you that it's growing there, then start it, and I'm happy to wax there. But if you're doing it because you think other people are bothered by it, then ask yourself, do you really want it? And she was like, well, actually, no, I'm not that bothered. It was just that it bothers me because I'm pale and I've got dark hair and I feel like everyone else notices it. And I said, but I'm a waxer and I haven't even stared at your arms once. Mm-hmm. And I'm someone that stares at hair all day long. So I can reassure you that I'm sure many other people haven't took any notice. And if they do, and that's what they want to pick out on you, then more for them that they're being that nasty to make you feel embarrassed about it. So I do think like with the whole ethnicity thing, you know, if you've got someone with super dark, thick hair, they may really want to get rid of it because it makes them self-conscious. And not only that, forget ethnicity, but also, like you just said, like 11-year-olds, you go to secondary school, kids can be
Kids
vile.
are brutal.
Yeah, they can be vile to one another. And they might not purposely be doing it, but they will do it without realising that there's certain little comments that can make them feel self-conscious.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I've had a young girl that's walked in with her mum and said, I'm being picked on, I'm being bullied for her, like, monobrow, that one bit of hair there. And, you know, I've said, like, do you want it removed? And she's like, yeah, like 100%. She's at secondary school. She said she wants it for herself. Her mum said, look, I'm not forcing her. It's what she wants. We've done a little test patch with a bit of wax just to see if she liked the feeling of the hot wax on her hand. She was like, yeah, that's fine. I go, okay, fair enough. I'll do it if you're happy, and we'll just remove this. We're not going to shape your brows up and give you like Kim K brows, but we'll take that little bit away. Yeah. And I think it's really important that actually, for some reason, like, and I get it, we have to be careful because of insurance and, you know, all the other things. But I do think that it should be openly spoke about, that actually no matter what age you are, whatever your background is, whether you've got mum, dad, female, whoever, that if there's something that's bothering you, that we are the specialists and you are able to come and speak to us about it with a guardian. Yeah. And we're happy to have a look at it to within reason, as long as we've got insurance that covers us for it. And
it's an interesting thing, isn't it, about people feeling very conscious about their hair. And I've had guys who have made an appointment and they've turned up for the salon. They're like, oh, you know, it is like a gorilla back there. I'm so conscious of it. And they take their shirt off and there's like a wisp, like at the base of the back or on the shoulders. Nothing. And I'm looking thinking, mate, I never say mate. I'm like, babes. Hun. Mate.
You've been hanging around with me. Mate. You see that Essex coming out in you? Mate. What you want about, geezer?
Geezer girl. So anyway, yeah, they can be taking their shirt off and going, it's so hairy, and I'm like, babes. There's nothing there, but we're always so much more self-conscious when it's on our own bodies, aren't we? Like we were talking earlier about skincare and about how we're conscious of things on our faces. Like I know Hannah was talking about before her wedding about kind of wanting some work done. And I was talking about my eyes earlier and kind of, polynucleotide injections, all of those kind of things. And there's such a pressure on us, I think, to feel like we have to look a certain way or fit a certain mold. And I like to think that we're in an industry where we get to make people feel better and more confident about themselves, but
Yeah.
without exploiting that, without kind of making them feel like they have to be hair free, because nobody has to be hair free, right? It's like it's hair's there, hair grows naturally. It's like if people want to get it done because it makes them feel better, more power to them. But nobody should ever feel like they have to get waxed because otherwise they're not going to get a partner or they're going to be laughed at the beach or whatever. So it's one of the really nice things about our job, isn't it? That we get to make people feel more confident.
100%.
It could be people before a wedding or before a big event. It could be a trans client, something like that. Like I said earlier, it could be a client who just feels self-conscious about taking their shirt off at the beach. But if we get to make them feel a bit better about themselves, then I love that.
100%. That's the best bit about the job, you know.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, like, I've seen some juicy old bulbs. Right,
I'm so glad you said bulbs there. I wondered where you were going with that. I have seen some juicy old...
As Hannah would say, cock. No. I've seen some juicy bulbs on the hair, and like on the ends of them. When you get them hair out, right, that hair out, and you look at them ends, you think, I got that out. That's so satisfying. Like I've done some nostril waxes where I've pulled it out and been like, oh, I could contour my face with this. This is insane, right? So satisfying. But the best bit, I think the cherry on top of the cake has got to be when someone comes in, you build that relationship up with them. You know, for me personally, I can sometimes feel drained at the end of the day. And it's more because of the mental side of my job, talking to these amazing people from all over that come to see me. And I hear so much about their life. They tell me about all of their pros and the cons of what's going on in their day or their week. Sometimes they tell me things before, like I've had people tell me that they're pregnant before they've even told the person that's got them pregnant. Like that's insane, right? Yeah. And it's amazing. But I've cried with my clients. I've hugged them. When they message me and be like, I feel so much more confident. Like the hair growth has come down. That's us. Yeah. That's us doing it. So when someone ever says to me, right, what do you do for a job? What do you do? And I go, I'm a waxer. And they go, a what?
Yeah.
Do you ever get that?
Yeah.
A what? A waxer?
Just a waxer.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't wax cars. Like, I wax body parts. Oh, like, you, yeah, I'm a waxer. And they go, oh, okay, interesting. And it's like they don't accept it as an occupation. Like, it's like people go, what, you just wax? No, like, I do more than waxing.
Yeah.
Like, there is so much more to the job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just waxing people. I'm their therapist.
Yeah.
I'm their friend. I'm also someone that will help them with any confidence issues that they're having. I'm also that person that will also talk them out of having something done just because someone has said they've got to do it. And I'm like, no, do you want, I actually ask them, is this what you want? Yeah. Or are you doing it for someone else's pleasure or someone, like, we spoke a lot about this on the street when I was saying to people like, oh, you know, would you have, you know, a landing strip or would you have this or whatever? If your partner asked for it, would you do it? There was some people that were like, yeah. And there was other people that were like, no, I do it for me. 100% it should always be for yourself. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's an element of make your partner happy and compromise, but also it's your own body. You should be really confident in it. And then we're the people that help them with that,
100%.
Which is so amazing. Yeah. Absolutely love our job.
And that time for the client as well, that might be the only time they've got that day or that week just for themselves, whether it's 20 minutes, you know, for a quick underarm and eyebrow wax, or whether it's a 2-hour full body waxing appointment. That time is just for them. And I think not necessarily, but for the guys as well. You were saying earlier about clients telling you stuff that they haven't even told their partners. I get that quite a lot with male clients who will say things to me that they don't feel they can tell their mates or they can't tell to their partners. And we know it with the barbering industry. You know, there's a whole initiative, the Lions Initiative. I think it's called the Lions Initiative. You know, training barbers up in how to listen to their clients, because we know that guys trust their barbers and they will talk to their barbers again about stuff that they won't talk to other people about. And mental health is such a big thing at the moment. And it's nice that we're able to offer that space for clients to feel safe and talk about things that perhaps they wouldn't feel comfortable talking about to other people.
Yeah.
So for chaps in particular, I think that's really valuable to have that space away from everything else. Zoe saying about how she hasn't gone to her waxer because she's moved away. Exactly the same with chaps. It's like having a good barber. It's like you trust that person with your hair and with your most intimate secrets. So you follow that person around. So you've got that really privileged relationship between therapist and client. And that's such a blessing for us as therapists, I think.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was in a big busy salon in the middle of a city centre, and I moved 25 minutes drive, and I generally thought, my business is over. Like, I'm going to have to move and restart again. And I know it's 25 minutes. You'll be surprised who will moan about that trip. But a lot of them still came because they'll go, oh, I was going to follow you wherever you go. Yeah. And for some people that were already travelling an hour and a half to get to me, it added another 20, 25 minutes. I thought, oh, I definitely won't see them. They would still come in. And I'm like, wow, like it's such an honour and it's such a privilege that they will do that for you. But that's not just because of the wax. That's because of the conversations and that's because of how we make them feel. And I think you touching base about mental health and men being able to do that, like I love that because as a mum with a little boy, I want him to always feel like he can talk about his emotions. I want him to always feel like he hasn't got to be this macho man. Men have feelings too, and men have insecurities too. If anything, I'd actually say I think men have probably more insecurities locked away than us women, because us women will talk about it if you've got the right friend or we're in a group or they might watch videos like this or things on social media that us women openly talk about. But men don't have that as much, not as much. And I think it's really important that they know that you're going to walk through that door, you're not going to be judged. That actually someone like Andy or whoever is going to be there and say, it's okay, you can talk. Yeah. And it's a safe zone. Yeah. It stays within that room. So that's amazing. I love that.
And there's nothing quite like being on your knees with your bum in the air to talk about relationship problems.
It's so
right?
good, honestly.
It's the perfect moment.
Let me just tell you now, right, the amount of times I've had someone on all fours wax right over the butt crack and we're having a heart-to-heart and I just have a moment of I step to the side while the wax is setting and I give them eye contact and I'm like, I love that for you.
Yeah.
Back to the bum.
I'm glad that you do actually step to the side as opposed to kind of like...
head between the legs. Hello down there. Johnny you down there. You're doing amazing. And it's every now and again when I touch the wax to make sure it's set, I'm like, tap, 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 tap.
Oh my God. Do you play piano? Because I hate that.
I've got to stop.
Do not play piano on somebody's butt crack.
It is so, honestly, it's like habit. I do it without even realising I'm doing it. Test, test, test. It's not tacky anymore. But I actually feel sometimes myself doing this down their bum. And I'm like, so sorry, I'm not playing with your bum crack. I don't mean to do that.
One touch, Becky. That's all you need. That's not set. At least you don't blow on it.
No. Oh. Do you know what? How many people have told me that they have been like this in butterfly pose? And the lady is just going like this in the wind. Honestly, the amount of people that have told me they've had people blow on their nunny. Come on.
Unacceptable.
That should not be happening. I mean it. If someone's blowing on your nunny, get straight out of there.
Yeah, that is a red flag.
Or your willy, whatever's going on. No one should be blowing on it if it hasn't been given permission. Right, Abby, is there time for another little clip? Let's have a look. Well, we've got Andy. Andy's getting the Marvel specs back on. X-ray vision. Is Lloyd on there? We have spoken a little bit about Lloyd. It's a little different one. We love you, Lloyd, but you can't make you main character over here. Andy's main character today.
And Lloyd, if you're listening, please don't use a home wax kit ever again. Go see your friendly neighbourhood waxer; they'll sort it out for you. Look, right, it does depend. A professional is going to know the directions of hair growth.
Exactly.
They're going to have the product to be able to do it. If you've got like that really tight curly hair as well, they can kind of use the hot wax to go over it. All of these things make it much more comfortable than those home wax kits, which just aren't designed to get that kind of hair out.
I'm not going to say it, but I will swipe these shelves in Tesco's soon. Not just Tesco's, Boots, everywhere else. Before the Tesco's comes after me for it.
My question for you girls is, what choice of hair removal technique do you do? Is it shaving? Is it laser? Is it hair removal cream, waxing?
So I have a bit of a combination. So I wax like my underarms, but I shave like other areas just because like my underarms are quite dark, so I found that waxing was like more effective.
Oh, 100%, yeah. So waxing will take obviously the hair straight out from the root, so you won't get that dark shadow on your underarms. Is that something you suffered with when you were shaving?
Yeah, I found that like literally within one day it would grow back, so I preferred it.
Yeah, this is the issue with shaving. So literally people will shave, and if you've got fast growing hair as well, especially if it's dark, literally within about 12 hours you'll see stubble coming through, and everyone's like, what is this? Like, what is this regrowth about? And then the problem is when you shave back over, it then hurts, and then you get this like sore, like rashy, itchy feeling across the skin. So you haven't braved it with the waxing anywhere else. Is there a reason behind that? Is it through just fear of pain or time or confidence?
Bit of a mix. Mainly pain, because I know how painful it has been, like from doing my underarms.
So you're worried about like how much it's going to hurt on the other areas.
Probably.
So on your underarms, if you're okay for me to ask, are you using like a paper strip that you pull off, or is it like hot wax that peels, sets, and you just take it off with the wax?
Paper strips, like beach strips. Yeah.
So that might be one of the reasons why it's stinging slightly. So if you was to change it to a hot wax, you might find that it's a little bit more comfortable, which may give you a little bit of confidence for anywhere else.
Yeah.
So just maybe give it a go. Even if it's a case of just finding a waxer that might be able to give you that experience so you can compare the two. Because I'm assuming you're doing your own at home, is it? Yeah. And you've never had any bad horror stories that have come from that, or has it been plain smooth sailing?
Yeah, been fine. And actually, each time I did it became less painful. So now there's like very minimal pain from it.
Love that. Lauren, what's your choice, girl? Come on.
To be honest, a bit of a combination as well.
Okay, so we've got two of you that are doing a mixture.
Yeah,
Right,
so usually I'll use like a razor and stuff, shave my legs and like underarms. But I do sometimes get like a bikini wax and things like that.
Okay, so found a waxer that's done it for you, or is
Yeah.
it you try and DIY yourself at home?
I don't think I would risk doing it myself.
Good girl.
Yeah, I've just got it done like by a small business. So yeah.
Oh, amazing.
That's
And you've
small
had a really good experience every time.
Yeah, I mean,
Love
I have got
that.
quite a low pain tolerance, but actually I haven't found it too bad.
Have you experienced the hot wax?
Yeah.
So the peelable one, and they do
Yeah.
that on the bikini?
Yeah.
Amazing. And do you find it quite comfortable-ish?
As comfortable as it can be.
It's all about breathing, trust
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Breathe your way through
Like
it, you're fine.
childbirth.
Normally the first
Breathe.
wax is always really painful,
Yeah.
just if you've got shaver's hair. But after you've done it a couple of times, you'll see the benefit of literally the hair growth coming back through finer and sparser, which obviously you may have experienced yourself, Izzy, on your underarms. But obviously you'll know yourself, like the more
Yeah.
you do it, the easier it gets.
Exactly.
So definitely. So if anyone is out there thinking, I can't do that, there is no way I can experience someone waxing me down there, would you say go for it? Is it as
Yeah.
bad as what you think?
No, not at all. I'd say it's definitely worth the results.
Perfect.
I think
Thank you. Thanks, girls. Mwah, mwah. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Oh, Becky, you were doing the Lord's work out there, aren't you?
Andy, what are we saying? Like, this, just again, it's the Veet. I'm not coming at you, Veet, but I am going to say
She
this.
is coming at
I
you,
am
Veet.
going to come at you because I tell you what, luckily, she hadn't had any horror stories or bad experiences with it. What she's finding is that, the hair growth is getting, obviously, sparser. Great. But it's also put her off having other areas
Yeah.
that she would probably like to get waxed. So she's taking the easy option by going with the razor. And I think that just comes down to the fact that they're using the wrong type of wax in... I'm not saying you can't use strip in underarms,
Yeah.
but obviously they're using the wrong kits by themselves. Like, I wax my own underarms, and I'm telling you now, it is very difficult to do because you're trying to stretch your own skin. You've only got one hand free if you're trying to stretch here with this up. So you're more likely to cause more damage doing it yourself than if you got a professional to do it. And if you actually listen to her friend was very like, oh, it's actually quite easy. She had more of a like a, not saying that it was a better experience, but maybe a little bit less like apprehensive experience because she was getting someone else to do it that was a professional.
And she was open in saying she's got quite a low pain threshold.
Yeah.
But interestingly, she said, I didn't find it that bad. So
Exactly.
technique and product, isn't it?
It's 100%. I think the thing is, like what they're saying, they're noticing less hair and it gets easier with time. So I think this is something that a lot of people, men and women, are worried about because they judge everything by the first experience.
Yeah.
But the first experience is always going to be that teeny little bit more pinchier.
It's spicier.
Spicy.
Yeah,
That's what we're going to
absolutely.
use. Teeny bit more spicier than when you've come, like, say, the third, fourth, fifth time.
Absolutely.
And I think people aren't aware of that so much. Yeah. So that's something that puts them off coming to get a wax because they've done it once and gone, hell no, I'm not going to do that again. But actually, the more you do it, it does get easier.
Yeah. And that first wax, that hair has never been removed before. So it's clinging on for dear life.
Yeah.
And especially if you've been a shaver, that hair might be really, really short. And obviously it's going to be thicker where it's been shaved. So that kind of stump, if you like, of hair, that can make it more difficult for the wax to remove. So all of those things can contribute to it being a little bit more uncomfortable the first time. But hair doesn't all grow, as we know, at the same rate. You know, the one hair isn't going to be in the same point of its growth cycle as its neighbour. So once you've got waxed a couple of times, you're going to start syncing all of those hair growth cycles. You're going to get longer periods of smoothness between your waxing, and it's going to appear that your hair is growing back slower and sparser as well. So by the time you get to your fourth or your fifth wax, it's going to be so much easier and so much more comfortable than that first ever time. And there are going to be bits of the body that are a little bit more uncomfortable than others. So the top of the shoulders, the back of the neck neck is always a little bit more uncomfortable. I find the chest unbearable.
A lot of men say that to me, that they find the chest worse.
It is. Wax my scrotum any day of the week, but leave my chest to be. It's kind of, that's not an open invitation.
Andy, I wasn't even asking, but okay.
What time do you finish tonight, Bets? We'll get the wax put out.
I've heard I have to stretch it a lot. So
we'll get the bungee cords out, right?
Let me just see how wide my arms can spread.
So yeah, I would rather have an intimate wax than a chest wax any day of the week. I find it really, really sore. So there are areas, but there are ways to make it more comfortable, like using the hot wax, the peelable wax on those sensitive areas. Encouraging clients to make sure that they don't shave for at least 3 weeks before their first appointment. We know with female clients that it's more sensitive around immediately before and after their period, for example. So time of the month can make a big difference. If someone is feeling ill, hungover or tired or dehydrated, that's always going to make things more uncomfortable. Some people find that caffeine makes them more sensitive. So there are things that we can kind of do as therapists, but also that clients can do themselves to help make it a little bit more comfortable for them.
I actually feel like what you were just saying earlier about the chest. I feel like that with legs.
Really?
Yeah.
Which
all
bit
day
of the
long.
leg?
A bit like the ankle.
Yeah, that's
ankle.
Weird, right?
I don't know what it is. It's horrible. Do you feel like that, Hannah?
My knees.
Your knee.
Isn't it strange? Yeah.
So knees, I think feels like I've got sunburn across my knee. It gets hot really quickly. And my daughters, when I do their legs, they hate the thigh area and the backs of the legs. But there's many clients that come and they're just like, yeah, legs is easy, it's great. It's just, again, it changes from person to person. But for me and for quite a few other people I know, they say the same. They'd rather have that down, they're done, than the legs.
Everyone has different ouch points. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I find it so interesting as well that what you just said, like how different parts of the days or the month can, or just how you feel in general can make a difference. I do think a lot, I mean, as another professional, you can say, Bex, come on now. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I do think it's mindset.
That has a lot to do with it. If you're not feeling good about yourself, if you've had a really bad day, then you're going to feel it more because you're on edge. So absolutely.
I mean, I've had a woman that not naming names. I love her if she knows who I'm talking about, but she's very I'm talking we're expressing pain before I've even pulled anything. Like I'm putting the wax on and she's like cat pose, but she has quite a negative mindset when she comes in. She's like, I'm not looking forward to this. This is going to be painful. And I'm like, have you actually, I love her to bits, but you are actually talking so negatively. You are, of course you're going to have a bad experience because you're already
expecting it. You're talking yourself into it.
And it's actually the ones that come in and go, do you know what? I'm not buzzing about the situation, but I'm here because I love the results. And we talk positive, that they go, actually, that wasn't too bad.
But isn't it interesting that the areas that we always think or clients think are going to be really painful, like the nose or the butt crack, are actually the least painful? Because you pull one nostril hair out at home in the light of the bathroom mirror.
But it hurts.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It's like you're pulling your brain out through your nostril.
Your eyes are watering.
Bring a tear to a glass eye.
Yeah.
But for some reason, you get it waxed. Don't feel a thing. It's so bizarre.
That actually, I would say, is pain-free. So when I say waxing isn't pain-free, I mean the majority of the places you're going to feel a something, but it doesn't mean it's actually painful. But the nostrils, I can generally say, it's just for most people, is pain-free.
And it's a public service, quite frankly, removing extra nostril hair. Nobody wants to walk around looking like Day of the Triffids.
No, and I know this.
I had to do mine. I'm such a bad advert for the industry. Literally yesterday morning, I was kind of just tiny, and I was like, oh my God, I can't go on this with this. I could grab it and I could pull it. So I had to quickly get the wax pot out before I got on the train to go and see Hannah, and I was shoving things up.
I am not turning up and Hannah's tripping over my nose hair. No way. Honestly, the nose hair thing is crazy. I'm quite a fair person, but I have one jet black nose hair and it drives me insane. And did you see my TikTok? Have you seen the TikTok of it? It was bugging me.
Have I seen the TikTok? Do I look like I'm on
sorry, I forget. Andy doesn't use social media.
Tiki-toki.
Tiki-toki. I'm telling you, I'm going to make a tiki-toki of you. You need to be on there. The world is missing you, Andy.
Tell me about your dark nostril hair.
So this dark nostril hair was literally hanging over to the other side of my nose. Show Andy, honestly, it's not the best angle of myself.
Putting my glasses on.
You wait till you see this dark hair. It was tickling me. I kept thinking I had a bogey hanging out my nose.
This hair has been bugging me for weeks. I keep thinking, is that a bogey? Because there's something blowing about in my nose. So watch out, look for this, and you wait till you see it. You see it? Look, already, look. I want to show you. It is annoying the heck. There. That little shit has been tickling my nose. Look at my freckles.
It's like a horror film.
I'm telling you.
Look, and I do that. Look how it touches the other side. Look, that's what's been tickling me. Let's get it. Let's get it. Because it's pissing me off.
Love the musical interlude.
I can't wait to get rid of that.
I can't wait for you to get rid of it.
Mad thing is, I'm not even bothered about the rest. I just want
Just
that
that corner.
horrible
Just need to get that one
thing to go. Once it's set, we're going to give that a good pull. And if I don't see that long hair on it, I'm going to be fuming. I'm not going to lie, this camera this close, it's making me realise I need a deep facial and I need some laser on my melasma, but it's all good. Is it
Painless. There it is.
See it?
Result.
I feel like
Oh
it was growing from my brain.
Love
Honestly, I'm not
that.
joking. It was.
Tell me.
Here we go again. You want to see it twice, do you?
When you wax yourself, though, even though we know it doesn't hurt, there's that like moment of like,
You don't hesitate. I don't know what it is.
pull it out. It's like pulling a band-aid off, isn't it? Like you don't want to do it to yourself.
When I first started waxing myself, right, so, and this is going to make me sound loopy, but, you know, what doesn't? I basically use... Andrew, don't do them facial expressions. So when I basically started waxing myself, I really struggled with this, like, hesitation with the pull. So the only thing that could get me through it was, instead of going 1, 2, 3 and then doing nothing, 1, 2, 3, doing nothing, I just thought, right, if I say a word, by the time I've done the word, it's got to come off. So I'd go 1, 2, 3, pizza. 1, 2, 3, lasagna. Like, that was how I got through.
Was it all food related?
Always food. Always food. Even when I teach, I will say to my students, right, so you want to scoop your wax up like sugar for your tea?
No, I do that. I'm
you
like,
do that?
Scoop your hot wax out like you're getting yogurt out of a pot with a spoon, or twizzle it round like you're curling spaghetti around a fork. It's
Oh my God,
food.
honestly, it's food.
Yeah, universal language.
Exactly that. I love that. Honestly, I thought it was just me. I was like, right, okay. So you want your wax to feel a bit like honey?
Yeah.
I always, everything goes back to food. Honestly, it's crazy. But that's what got me through doing my own waxing. Because there is a hesitation. With hesitation, it hurts.
Yeah.
Really hurts. But you'll be glad to know that those hair's gone.
Proud of you, Bex.
So proud of me. I love that. I love that. Is there time, Abby, for one more? Or have we been talking for too long?
What is this, hour and a half?
3 hours later. Let me just say, right, Andy and Hannah have witnessed so much of my... And sorry, I'm not going to leave out Abby and Jordan on this one, because my voice notes, when you speak to me...
They're like novels. It's like you signed up to Audible.
Basically, I need to have a voice note sign-in at WH Smith for how long these voice notes are. But I'm telling you, I don't mean to. It's just life.
So a couple of months ago,
I did my chest, put the soap on it, shaved off all the hair on my chest to see what it was like.
Yeah.
I saw pictures of like bodybuilders and models and people, and they didn't have any hair on their chest, so I wanted to see what it was like. And
So is that your first time ever-
My first time doing it. But I did notice that when it started to grow back, it was itchy,
yeah.
and I found that very, very uncomfortable.
Did it give you a bit of a rash on your chest?
It didn't give me a bit of a rash, but I was thinking next time, like I know that women have like products,
Yeah.
hair removal products that they put on their legs. I was thinking maybe next time I might use that, rub that all
Try
over
it
my
on your
chest.
chest.
But I did notice that when the hair was coming back, it felt a bit uncomfortable. It was very, very itchy. I was always itching all the time.
Sometimes with men's hair, it's really coarse. When you're taking it off, it can irritate the skin a little
Yes,
bit.
yeah.
And I found that with men, they get a lot of like histamine reaction, so it looks like hives. So it looks a bit itchy and,
Yes.
and a bit irritated for a little while. That does go down, but it's normally just a reaction to having really coarse hair. And sometimes with men as well, I've noticed that if they've ever had their back waxed, it's quite common for them to find loads of spots that come up. But that does stop over time. It's sort of a thing of like where the follicles go into a bit of a trauma. So far you used like shaving technique.
Yeah, I used a shaving technique. I used, I think I used foam and different shave oil, and then just used the blade and just shaved
I
it
just
up.
went, yeah.
I mean, do they have, like I know for women they have neat, this stuff called neat.
Yeah,
that
so...
they put, do they have anything like that for men?
Yeah, well, it doesn't. Even though it looks like it's designed for women, men can use it as well.
Yeah, okay.
So you could definitely use it.
Yeah, okay.
If it's something that you're thinking of. Yeah. But I would say if it's your first ever experience with waxing, maybe try and hit the salon. There are so many waxers out there that would be happy to wax a man's chest or back, whatever it is that you're after, and would be able to help you.
And the wax, they put the wax on you.
Yeah, so they literally just... So you've got you've got the strip wax, which goes on, which is like a paper, and you heat the paper and then you just pull it off, which is what the home waxing kits will be like. Or you can use a hot wax, a hard wax that goes on, sets, it goes hard, it's peelable and it comes straight off. But that's a really comfortable type of wax and would be perfect for someone like yourself who's maybe finding that like even shaving was irritating you. You might find that would be a better option for you.
Thank you.
But go for it.
Thank you very much.
I love the fact that you shared that story with us. Thank you, Lloyd. And he's from Canada originally. Yeah. I want to go Canada.
Just wanted to get that information out.
And all that poor man wants to do is eat his cupcakes. Yes. You're pestering him.
No, do you know what? The mad thing is, he asked me, but the thing is, when we came over, we were sitting on the bench and he was sitting there munching around his cupcakes. Now, normally in London, you just ignore each other because that's London life. I was like, those cakes look so tasty. You were like, you enjoying them? And he was just sitting there like, who is this nutter talking to me? But he, honestly, what a good sport. He got involved. But yeah, he was obviously very intrigued by it. But it's interesting what he said. He said he'd seen it on bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's that psychology. Oh, men look like that. I want to look like that. Yep. And that's what, he was testing out for that reasons. Again, another reason why men have stuff done. By the way, I just love the way, I think maybe it's the Canadian accent, but I love the way he's saying uncomfortable. It was so cute. I just wanted to squeeze him.
It's like when Americans say aluminum rather than aluminium, isn't it? Aluminum.
Americans do not get me.
There's an extra I in that word, Americans.
There's a lot of Americans that don't understand me when I talk. I tell you, when we went to America, there was a few times I was talking and they just kept looking at me going, huh? It was always a look of, I have no clue what you say. I was thinking, is it because I'm speaking quick? No, it's because I slow my words. I just don't give spaces in between. I mean, I remember I was in university and I was going, how do you get to the car park? I didn't say, how do you? I went, how do you get to the car park? And my husband was like, why are you saying, how do you? How do you? No wonder why they don't understand you. Essex accent is not doing me any favours. Right, so yeah, that was Lloyd's story, and I do apologise, Lloyd. I was saying he was using V. Sorry, V. I also apologise. We take that back.
But Lloyd, if we can just have a moment. Like Becky said, avoid the razor. Waxing all the way.
Yeah, and I'm not against it. Before everyone comes at me, I shave, I don't have no problems. That's great if it works for you.
Absolutely.
But there is many people that it doesn't. And I can vouch, back in the day, shave over the same patch of skin. And it did look awful. Like, the scabby, the itchy looking red raw skin, it's just not a look. And you know what? There are many professionals out there that can do the work for you. You don't have to go through all the terror of the strips and hair removal cream. Can I just quickly say about hair removal cream?
Yeah. When clients have used hair removal cream in the intimate area in particular, their first wax afterwards, you've got to be so careful putting extra oil on the skin because that skin barrier can be really damaged, really compromised by hair removal creams. I have a hate relationship with hair removal creams.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I am just going to say this. Hair removal cream, I went into... I'm not going to name supermarkets. I feel like I'm calling too many people out here. But I went into a supermarket and hair removal cream was sitting on the shelf right next to a razor. The hair removal cream was £9. The razor, just a cheap little disposable one, was like £2. And I'm looking at them both and thinking... That hair removal cream is going to give you the same real effects as what a razor does, but you'll pay £9 for it. And there's so many people out there that just think the cream does something different, or like whatever the mousse, whatever they're using, they believe they're getting better results. And I'm like, you save the money. It's literally, it's not doing anything. You're going to have growth in a couple of days, just like you would with the razor. And for me, I just feel like if you are that bothered about the hair growth and you want it gone quickly and for a long period of time, save the money. You're spending £9 on a bottle of mousse.
And there's a reason it says don't use it on the intimate area as well.
Exactly, because it actually burns. Yeah. Like, who wants to walk around with, like, bubble blisters?
Like John Wayne, kind of...
Seriously, come on. Move on from these days. Anyway, it's been great having you, Andy. I love having you here. And when I say that me and Andy saw each other at Pro Beauty and was having a chat, it was so like with each other. And I was like, I just want to take you out for lunch. We just got on so well. And I feel like we've got very similar views on things in the industry. And it's been great having you here just to give that male spin on it. And anyone that is out there that is thinking, I want to start training in male intimate, whether you're a man or a woman, please, if you're going to go to anyone, get in touch. We're going to get Andy's details so that you can just literally go and drop him a message. He is honestly, what you see on the camera is what you see off the camera. Such a lovely guy, and he will be your guide to get you through it. Mwah!
Thank you.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you.